I want to get to this part with Trump that they already grabbed out when he first responded to the media. And as strong as this is, it isn't strong enough. He needs to throw them all out of the White House. We're already in a civil war. Why keep pretending? They're openly calling for his murder and overthrow on CNN. When you get to that point, you have to move. Go to the clip.
Am I making this presentation directly to the American people with the media present, which is an honor to have you this morning, because many of our nation's reporters and folks will not tell you the truth and will not treat the wonderful people of our country with the respect that they deserve. And I hope going forward we can be a little bit different and maybe get along a little bit better if that's possible. Maybe it's not, and that's okay too. Unfortunately, much of the media in Washington, D.C., along with New York, Los Angeles in particular, speaks not for the people, but for the special interests and for those profiting off a very, very obviously broken system.
Hit pause. Back this up. This is so epic. This is back it up. Start at the beginning. He's declaring the criminal cities where the mafias are. New York, which he knows, and built his empire despite them in L.A., who just are out to hurt us and hate us. And he goes, I'd like to work with you. I'd like you to run up the white flag. All I'm going to do is give you prosperity. But I'm sorry, we're not going to have child kidnapping and murder rings. I mean, he's just telling you. Listen, it's going to stop. It's over. You wanted to kill the country. You wanted to bring the world into depression and have wars. We're not suicidal. That's all this is. You know, but you don't want that? Okay. So I trust Trump. You know, he knows what to do. It's just that this is hardcore, folks. The energy level is 100 times what I've ever felt it. Okay. I can't even eat. I haven't even eaten. I mean, I see all the data. I know what they're planning. And then all over the world, nationalism is exploding. They're losing. That's why it's so dangerous. Let's continue with the president from the start. Sorry.
This morning, because many of our nation's reporters and folks will not tell you the truth and will not treat the wonderful people of our country with the respect that they deserve. And I hope going forward we can be a little bit different and maybe get along a little bit better if that's possible. Maybe it's not, and that's okay too. Unfortunately, much of the media in Washington, D.C., along with New York, Los Angeles in particular, speaks not for the people, but for the special interests and for those profiting off a very, very obviously broken system. The press has become so dishonest that if we don't talk about it, we are doing a tremendous disservice to the American people. Tremendous disservice. We have to talk about it to find out what's going on, because the press, honestly, is out of control. The level of dishonesty is out of control. I ran for president to represent the citizens of our country. I am here to change the broken system so it serves their families and their communities well. I am talking and really talking on this very entrenched power structure, and what we're doing is we're talking about the power structure. We're talking about its entrenchment. As a result, the media is going through what they have to go through to oftentimes distort, not all the time, and some of the media is fantastic, I have to say. They're honest and fantastic. But much of it is not. The distortion, and we'll talk about it, you'll be able to ask me questions about it. But we're not going to let it happen, because I'm here again to take my message straight to the people. As you know, our administration inherited many problems across government and across the economy. To be honest, I inherited a mess. It's a mess. At home and abroad, a mess. Jobs are pouring out of the country. You see what's going on with all of the companies leaving our country, going to Mexico and other places. Low pay, low wages, mass instability overseas, no matter where you look. The Middle East, a disaster. North Korea, we'll take care of it, folks. We're going to take care of it all. I just want to let you know, I inherited a mess. Beginning on day one, our administration went to work to tackle these challenges. On foreign affairs, we've already begun enormously productive talks with many foreign leaders, much of it you've covered, to move forward towards stability, security, and peace in the most troubled regions of the world, of which there are many. We have had great conversations with the United Kingdom and meetings, Israel, Mexico, Japan, China, and Canada. Really, really productive conversations. I would say far more productive than you would understand. We've even developed a new council with Canada to promote women's business leaders and entrepreneurs. Very important to me, very important to my daughter Ivanka. I have directed our defense community, headed by our great general, now Secretary Mattis. He's over there now working very hard to submit a plan for the defeat of ISIS, a group that celebrates the murder and torture of innocent people in large sections of the world. It used to be a small group, now it's in large sections of the world. They've spread like cancer. ISIS has spread like cancer. Another mess I inherited. And we have imposed new sanctions on the nation of Iran, who's totally taken advantage of our previous administration. And they're the world's top sponsor of terrorism. And we're not going to stop until that problem is properly solved. And it's not properly solved now. It's one of the worst agreements I've ever seen drawn by anybody. I've ordered plans to begin for the massive rebuilding of the United States military. I've had great support from the Senate. I've had great support from Congress generally. We've pursued this rebuilding in the hopes that we will never have to use this military. And I will tell you, that is I would be so happy if we never had to use it. But our country will never have had a military like the military we're about to build and rebuild. We have the greatest people on earth in our military, but they don't have the right equipment, and their equipment is old. I used it. I talked about it at every stop. Depleted. It's depleted. It won't be depleted for long. And I think one of the reasons I'm standing here instead of other people is that, frankly, I talked about we have to have a strong military. We have to have strong law enforcement also.
All right, let's stop right there.
So we do not go.
There's more of the press conference coming up. That's from about 10 minutes ago, because we can obviously go back to the beginning. And we'll have some of the excerpts for you of some of the press conference. We have a live feed of it at Infowars.com if you want to look at it. The reason I've got so upset is things couldn't be more historical. Never in the history of the world has something gone on like this. I mean, this is unbelievable. And never before have we had such crazed, crazy, evil, corrupt people in charge who were so arrogant that the outgoing CIA director told the president, watch his mouth. I mean, this is just total belligerence by the hijackers of this country. I want to be clear, whether it's the NSA or the CIA or Defense Intelligence or on and on and on, it's just people like you and I. But when you get into these globalists and these neocons and these leftists, they all support world government. And they all want to be the technocrat class that serves the big mega banks, serves the big Googles. And the rest of us just don't exist. They're a bunch of very, very selfish, very, very evil people. And it'd be one thing if they were like super strong and doing some great things and inventing all this stuff. And then they said, oh, you're all ugly, we're going to kill you. I'd still fight back because I want to survive. It's like they're the worst scum that snuck in and used our goodwill and our blind spot to hijack civilization. And now we're telling us we don't have a place in the future. Hey, I got a little newsflash for you. If you want me to die, no, 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 you will die. I don't mean that as some physical threat. I don't say things I don't then carry out or attempt to carry out. I'm saying metaphysically, historically, those that live by the sword die by the sword. And that doesn't just mean if you are in the military, you're going to die by the sword. It means if you live by it, you're out taking with it. So I'm putting the word out, and then God's going to take care of everything. But that means working through men and women. Then said Jesus unto them, put up again thy sword into his place. For all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword. They also said, go forth and buy a sword. So it's all very sophisticated be able to understand. You have to have discernment to understand it. It's written so that the profane or the wicked ones don't understand it. And to them, it's all a big joke. You can pull up those Bible verses as well. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. That's King James, Revelation 13:10. That's speaking about specifically bondage and enslavement by the Antichrist forces against Christians. And make no mistake, all of this is preparation for humanity to face much bigger threats. If we have victory over this at this point, still, there are much greater threats coming down the road, but this is an example of the ebb and flow in history of good and evil. It says, is Twitter censoring positive replies to Donald Trump's tweets? Paul Watson's done his article. I mean, I've talked to people that know about Twitter and how it works. I just know how to use it. I call myself, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, knowing how Twitter works, maybe a 2. But I've talked to Twitter experts. They say it's definitely going on. They just put the negative ones at the top, and then, so that way he doesn't respond to people. He says, Twitter appears to be censoring positive replies to President Donald Trump's tweets and only showing negative responses. Yeah, this has been going on for weeks. I've gone back and looked. So Paul documents all that. I'm going to take liberty and just point out that we should probably change the headline and say clear evidence shows they're censoring the responses to his tweets and manipulating his Twitter account. I mean, that's really the big issue, is they're manipulating the Twitter account. You've got screenshots of all this. And they admit they're starting to gauge everything and govern it and manipulate it. I mean, it's been going on a while. Now they're just rolling it out, which means even more worse stuff's about to happen. We're going to come back with our special guest, getting into General Flynn and how it was tied into Pizzagate straight ahead. And please support us and spread the links in the articles. They may try to censor us on big platforms, but we're huge as well. So spread those links from Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com, and spread the link to Infowars.com/show so folks can find the broadcast. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say, see, I told you so, that communist Chinese-style net censorship was coming to the web, because it's already here. It's being announced. The way you keep the internet open and free is you get involved more than ever. Go to Infowars.com/app. A new battleship in the fight. Infowars Live, available right now. We're looking for a crew to man it. You going to sit down and play games and be a trendy? Or are you going to be part of history? Don't sit by and let the internet and free speech be stolen from you. Take action.